We're here.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ, that was unexpected. What is going on, everyone? And welcome in to the College Football After Dark right here on the Voice of College Football every Sunday, at least for the time being, till the season's over. How is everyone doing tonight?
We're doing great. How are you doing,
Fantastic.
Ben?
Well, I know we've got a lot to talk about. And of course, everyone in the chat, appreciate you guys being here. But make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new here and first time, consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. But the like button really does help with the algorithm. And it's free and easy to do. And you will be reminded multiple times. Hey, there's Mike.
Hey, what's up?
So, as in a tradition that we've been doing lately, please, one by one, Joey, Mike, Jackson, etc. onward. Please go ahead and introduce yourself to the chat and tell people where they can find you and what's going on with you.
Hello there, chat. My name's Joey Foster. I'm with you quite often here on the Voice of College Football. I think most of you know who I am. Looking forward to the bowl games coming up. We've got some great matchups to talk about tonight, and including the playoffs, and including we're going to talk a little bit about a mayonnaise bowl too. So everybody stick around.
Yeah. It's Mike Ford again. If you want to know where I'm at, hopefully in 2 hours I will be in bed because I am, on Percocet and Tramadol and all sorts of fun drugs. Plus I was awake at 3 a.m. So that's where you're going to find me. Hashtag stand for FSU. Go ahead, Jackson.
Well, I guess it's my turn. Well, I'm Jackson Johnson, and I'm your friendly neighborhood host of the Jacksonian, where I just have on a lot of people here and there, especially Thursday night, where I had Ben and Spaz and Derek, where we talked a little bit about the 2023 Pac-12 title game, amongst other topics. And you can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube, where I just kind of run my mouth about what's going on in college football and NFL and so on and so forth.
All right, everybody. I'm Tide Guy. Starting this week, I'll be doing trivia again every Tuesday night. So you can find me on my channel. I'm also on Twitter at Tide Guy 18. You can hit me up. I'll answer questions. And like I said, if you guys are interested in trivia and learning different knowledge, come over and check my channel out.
Hey, this is Liberty Bibberty, otherwise known as Spaz. You can reach me here on the Voice of College Football Tuesday nights with Ben up there and the other boys. We do the Oregon Live pregame shows on Tuesdays, previewing the show games, and every Saturday during the regular season. And our next post-game show will be January 1st from Glendale, Arizona. And Jackson needs his OnlyFans to hit 1,000. Go Jackson.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm like 920 of the accounts following him now, but so no, I'm Sean. You guys can follow me here on CFB After Dark every weekend, most weekends. Same with the Big Ten channel, the Ocho. And you can also find me like crying into my beer over 3 straight losses to the enemies up north. Is in various bars around Grand Rapids, Michigan. So,
hey, I feel you in 3 straight losses to the up north. I'm right there with you.
So I want to take just a second here, Ben. I wanted to invite everybody to go over and check out our store at topqualityshirts.com. Just go to topqualityshirts.com. You can get all your Voice of College Football merchandise there. And we even have some team channels represented in Michigan, Miami, USC, OU, Iowa, WVU. And we'll be adding more there in the next couple of weeks because we have a lot of new merchandise that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. So some of this merchandise you see on here, will be like last chance to get it. You don't have to worry about shipping. Shipping is free. Go on over to topqualityshirts.com and get your Voice of College Football merchandise.
Hey, Joey,
Thank
can
you.
I add
Joey,
something real quick?
Joey, I was going to say, can you pull that back up? There was a sweet name right next to the Voice of College Football one that needed to be highlighted too. I think that second tab looked like some sweet ass merch too.
Oh man!
And Joey,
No,
can I
no,
add,
It looks like
while you're putting that up, can I add something?
Yes.
All
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
Michigan fans out there, don't worry about getting a national championship shirt. Your one from the 90s will still work after this season.
So this is
It might not fit right though.
This is
Jesus.
the cool thing about topqualityshirts.com. Here's the cool thing about it. You go there, you can get your Voice of College Football merchandise and all those team channels. But you can also get Exploring with Ben and Sam. Ben and Sam have a great great YouTube channel. You can get their merchandise, and actually, it's probably some of my favorite merchandise is Ben and Sam. You can get your Pasty and Pete. You know, you can get your traveling pool. You're eating dogs. And then, of course, you can get your Tie Guy trivia questions over there, but we've only got a T-shirt in there right now. We've got a lot more merchandise coming in here in the next couple of weeks. So, topqualityshirts.com, free shipping on everything. Go over there. Get you one in beer glasses, man. Them things are nice. I'm going to let you right now.
Oh,
Right
man.
now, on
I
anything.
tell you what, though, that looks like some cool stuff for Christmas. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I mean, Erica Goldberg, I see her in the chat. You know, Erica's a huge supporter here at the Voice of College Football, and I think somebody in the chat should just super chat right now and say, "I want to buy Erica a T-shirt." Hey, why not? Buy
man.
the Erica T-shirt.
The
But you
dedicated
know,
Iowa fan.
we do have a merchandise.
Well, another thing I was thinking about for the holiday season is if you like exclusive live streams, watch parties, betting advice, predictions, insider looks on all of college football, go to patreon.com/MarkRogersTV or become a YouTube member at the Voice of College Football.
Now on with the show. Now that the advertisement.
Yeah, now that I got that promotion for myself out of the way, but we have Tim Prangley over here, the USC
We got a proper
man
director
himself.
now.
How you doing, Tim?
Tim, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
Just here to annoy the Michigan fans.
I'm too tired to be annoyed.
Have you
As a
survived
USC fan, you probably should keep your mouth shut right now.
Oh,
Well, it's coming from the West Virginia fan, dude. Settle down.
Hey, we're 8-4.
It's already
In the
starting.
Big 12 again. Settle down.
It's like it's already starting.
That's the equivalent.
All right.
Of that's the equivalent of 3-9 in normal conference.
obviously. Better than the ACC, obviously.
So
Too soon.
right before we get into obviously the reason we're here, I want to give a congratulations to Willie Fritz for taking the Houston job. Kind of a bump up from Tulane. See what he can do over there for the Cougs. I think that's a good grab by
I
Houston.
think that's a great hire.
Yeah, Willie Fritz is awesome.
That explains why they lost to SMU, though. I mean, I think Coach Fritz got distracted by the sweet sound of Houston.
Possibly. I like how Tim gave it a little snark, like, yeah, that guy's awesome.
No, there's no stark about it. I really didn't know too much about him going into that Cotton Bowl game against USC. And Chris is like, no, this guy is legit. Went back, looked at his career, and yeah, amazing. Started watching some of the games leading to the Cotton Bowl, and you guys seen Tulane resurgence the last couple of years. I mean, they've been a solid program. That's all due to him.
And they were awful before then. They were awful for almost 20 years.
He reminds me a lot of. He reminds me a lot of Lance Leipold, right? At Kansas, because he had such great success in other divisions and at Buffalo, a lot of national championships, a lot of conference championships, you know, and he comes into Power 5 and tearing it up at Kansas. That's exactly what I feel like Fritz is going to do at Houston. He's going to turn that program around.
Well, it's going to be easier without Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 as well. So he'll be able to have a good time for a long time in the Big 12.
And it's the same area. So he's
as a
already
Cincinnati fan, I'm jealous.
and he's already recruiting that area anyways in Tulane.
Oh,
so
I forgot,
you know.
Sean, you're a Cincy fan. I'm so sorry to make it sound harsh for you guys. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. We dug our grave right now with
Well, with
Satterfield.
Satterfield, I got a feeling you're going to be seeing 7-win seasons with that guy.
I hope. That's what I mean. Just don't be embarrassed.
Well, I
So
mean,
before we
I'm so excited about what Fritz is bringing for Houston. I mean,
Yeah.
I still love that worst to first job where, Tulane was the worst team in the AAC 2021,
Horrible.
but then they finished in first 2022. That was tremendous right there.
No, and he did a lot of great stuff at Georgia Southern before he got there. He's he's an A+ hire for them for sure.
Oh man, he was awesome at Georgia Southern.
Well, before we get on to our main topic here, I want to pull this up so we don't forget and don't get buried. So thank you, Ravia Tutu. Sorry if I said that maybe wrong. Hey guys, why do we keep popping on Kyle McCord? His first-year stats were better than first-year Burrow, first-year Ewers, first-year JJ, and so on. Why do we think he's not going to improve in year 2 like others? I'll let the Big Ten guys kind of rant about that. Maybe
Okay,
they have better insight.
I've been McCord's bigger defenders on this network here. I thought he played sufficient. He played well. He progressed through the season, and I really do think it. I mean, when I hear Ohio State reaching out in the transfer portal for guys like Cam Ward, I don't know, DJU possibly. I'm like, I don't think these guys are really upgrades over him. I mean, he made like 2 bad plays in the Michigan game, and everyone's destroying him for it. I mean, this is a spoiled fan base.
Thank you.
We have had great quarterbacks for the past 5 years, and now we had a good one, and it's just a disaster. I
think a big problem that with Kyle McCord is that Ryan Day, every press conference he's done, has been about how he doesn't feel committed to him, like he's not ready, he's not there. And so, if Ryan Day, if his head coach is saying it, and you can go back and read any article you want to about Kyle McCord, Ryan Day says he's not committing to him and things, so if the head coach is not committing to you, how do you expect anybody else to really commit to you? And
that's bad right there. It's like, oh man.
Well, and the other problem with him is I don't think he's that athletic.
Well,
He's not a terrible quarterback.
He's not athletic at all. But Dwayne
But he's
Haskins
not.
wasn't athletic at all either.
Neither
Dwayne
was
Haskins
Stroud.
But I think McCord is almost to his limit. I don't think there's a lot more coaching up on him. I think he's close to his ceiling is his problem.
I think. I'd have to say though, second year, of course, most people, do progress, but yeah, he doesn't seem mobile at all from what I've seen. And honestly, what would we say without Marvin Harrison, he would have I don't know who he would have really thrown to.
Well,
Right.
well, I'll tell you, next year we have the number 1 overall true. I don't know how much this will impact next year, but the number 1 overall freshman from the class of 2024 is a wide receiver at Ohio State. So,
yeah, Ohio State's going to be interesting next year because they have to replace a lot. It's not just replacing Marvin Harrison Jr. They got to replace pretty much the whole defense, except for
there's a lot of guys that are kind of borderline. So I'm not sure if Tyleek or Michael Hall Jr., the 2 defensive tackles, are going to defect to the pros or not.
That's true.
Sawyer, I think, is coming back next year. The other edge defender. I don't think Jay Tumalau will be back.
No. Sawyer needs to come back.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs some seasoning. He hasn't done enough in college yet.
But you lose what? Denzel Burke. You lose both. Don't you lose both your linebackers?
Yeah, the linebackers I don't think will be a huge drop off from Eichenberg and God, why can't but to Cody Simon and CJ Hicks, they should be suitable replacements for them. And Denzel Burke, he'll be replaced by Jermaine Matthews, who's probably
Denzel Burke was a stud though, man, this year. Denzel Burke was one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
But Denzel Burke was out for 3 weeks this year, and Jermaine Matthews stepped in and played very, very well. He should be the next in line. I mean, he should be kind of in that. I'm not worried about the secondary that much. If they lose Jordan Hancock, the nickel guy, that could be a problem. I'm more worried about losing Hancock than I am about losing Burke, because I think Matthews can step into that boundary corner and play just fine.
Well, we'll see on the offseason about that. But as to Kyle McCord, I think most people do improve in their second year. If they don't, there's a problem. But if you say there's maybe a lack of commitment in the staff, the coaches, that's not a good thing for Kyle McCord.
And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of pressure on him from outside to move on from him, which, I mean, I would hope Ryan Day's not influenced by that too greatly. Like, hopefully he can evaluate that on his own merits.
Well,
Couple
that's
of
what
things.
a coach is supposed to do.
Couple of things, Sean.
Have you guys talked about how FSU got hosed?
Wait. I'm sorry. I want to hear Tim's response to that.
Yeah, Sean, really quickly. Be careful, because there's also the transfer portal, and I mean, I would think that Day and that offense would be able to pull them, because actually it sounds like Jeremiah Smith, the receiver you're talking about, it might be decommitting, going to Miami. But you still have Ennis, you still have Tate from last year's class, or 2 top 5. I mean, let's face it, it's one of those situations, it's one of those schools where you're always gonna have top receivers. Unlike Michigan, you're always gonna have top receivers coming to your school. So right back at you, Mikey. No, so I mean, that's not gonna be the issue. But I do think that you guys should be looking, because I don't know long term that's the quarterback answer for you guys.
There's a comment in the
but going into 2024, I don't know if there's a better answer.
There's a comment out here in the comment section I wanted to highlight for a second. If you don't care, Ben, I'm going to highlight it. Just a second.
You and Tim can control this whole bitch.
He said, Jason, I saw a rumor Arch Manning may go to Ohio State. Well,
sorry.
That's right.
I was trying to just remove that.
Arch Manning may go to Ohio State, but just a rumor so far. It's funny you say that, Casey, because I've got a really good contact at Texas who told me 3 weeks ago that Arch Manning was not happy at Texas, and that Peyton and Eli were not happy with the situation at Texas for him, and that he was talking to Ohio State, and that was 3 weeks ago. I heard that.
He's talking to sports schools.
With viewers announcing that he's returning for another year, I can't imagine why Manning would be happy there. I can't imagine him staying there for another year.
It'd be interesting to see if that happened.
I can't see him going that far north.
Yeah, he was talking to Ohio State. I know he's talking to Georgia also, and I've also heard that Ole Miss. He's talked to Ole Miss even.
Yeah, I can't see him going that far north. I think every family member he's had that's played ball has been in the South. So
Peyton played in Baltimore. There you go.
Okay. I mean,
I'm not sure you want.
Manning did play for Peyton did play for 15 years in Indianapolis. So.
Well, in pros you don't have.
Sean, I'm not sure you want. I'm not sure you want Manning, bro. You want you need a dual threat, bro.
I don't know.
Well,
you got to go back to that Justin Fields type quarterback. To be honest, like you got to get away from this stand in the pocket. Not wanting to run situation that you've been in the past few years. Yeah, you win most of your games, but it's not winning the games that matter.
No. I mean, like when you need to pick up a first down, or need to convert in the red zone, like it has cost us. It has.
Like
no question.
Like Jalen Milroe, man. Jalen Milroe is like quarterback. You like scared to play. for example.
Yeah,
that
you don't know
dude's-
how to defend him ever. Like you just don't. It's not. I mean,
Why? To
you
cover
you
Milrow, all
can't
you
run
should
it
do
too
is
hard
cover the
or
line and
or else
cover
it's gonna
deep.
be
You
nasty.
can't throw in the middle.
What was that?
Milrow can only throw short or deep. He can't throw in the middle.
Yeah,
Well,
but bro, his dynamic ability to when a play goes wrong to run, it's hard to defend. It's just hard to defend. You've seen that. I mean, even Georgia, who I don't think their defense is as good as it's been the past couple of years. I mean, he was giving them fits.
They're still a top 5 defense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not quite. They're not quite what they've been
well,
the past couple, but still.
They kept
Well,
2 spies. If you want to play Milrow, you got to have 2 spies on him. 1 spy does not work.
Well, you guys can talk about Milrow.
Well, they had to.
when we
Well, they
get to
had
that
2 spies
part.
on them, and it didn't work. So.
So, anyways, Rabia Tutu, thank you very much for that super chat. We appreciate it a lot here. Mark does as well. And by all means, everyone keep those coming so we can have extended conversations about a quarterback and transfers and other topics. Let's get to the name of the game here on this show, as we were trying to go for. Did the playoff committee really screw FSU over?
Yes.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
in the literal sense, yes, they did, but in the sense of for what? And I had to say it's money and SEC bias.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Because
figure
of
out.
ESPN.
They say they followed the rules, right? They followed the guidelines given to them to leave.
It was
FSU.
the 3rd or 4th bylaw they have after like
But
all
they
the
say
other
that-
statistics
but
or whatever.
They say that every week. So last week FSU was good enough to be in the top 4. This week they're not. That's the only thing I have a problem with. So last week they made everything. They made all the guidelines to be in the top 4 last week, and this week they win their game, and still they drop out of the top 4. What is
Here's 2 things that happened, Joey. Alabama beat the number 1 team in the country, who
right?
had won 29 straight games and was undecidedly voted number 1. Now, you can argue if they were really number 1 or not. I don't care. But they were number 1. And Bama beat them. So that's what improved Alabama. And the second thing that hurt was if anybody watched that Florida State game last night,
The problem with using that game though is that quarterback that played isn't the quarterback that's going to play in the playoffs. So I hate that argument.
Okay,
That's
what
the
about
other. That's the other. That's the other part of
Sure.
it.
I mean, I'm not sure Rodemaker will be ready to go. in the
I
playoffs.
think
It was a concussion. He had a concussion. He would have been fine. It's 4 weeks from now.
So what
He
happened
would've
the
been
week
good.
before? What happened the week before when he played?
It was
got
a
hit in the head and
concussion.
they put him back in
The
the
reason he
game.
didn't play in this game was concussion protocol, not because he had some season-ending injury.
Right, but the week before he played, and Florida State didn't do any better. They were losing to Florida.
Well, if you want to get to that, we start comparing struggle games. I mean, Alabama struggled versus USF, a terrible
Yep.
Auburn
We played our
team.
third-string
I mean, you
quarterback
could do
most
that.
of the
You
game.
could
That's
do
true.
that all day.
Right.
Jeff, you're going to be vindicated in all this because Alabama, sorry, Michigan fans, is going to win a couple of games and probably win the national championship.
Well, and like I try to tell Michigan fans, they can, they all want to boost their chest that, hey, we've won the most games ever, so they look in the past. But what they don't know is since I was born in 1970, Michigan has went to 16 Rose Bowls and only won 4 of them. 4 Rose Bowls since 1970, and you've played in 16 of them. You haven't won a Rose Bowl since 1998.
Well, no one's arguing that Alabama's not a better program, so I don't know.
And
Bo Schembechler only won 2 Rose Bowls that he coached in.
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm not going to argue that Michigan's a better program, and I think that it's kind of a dumb argument to even talk about.
And I'd like to point out right now that Prangley's predictions this year have been slightly off.
But here's the thing: if Alabama is so terrible, why don't Michigan want to play us?
We do. I think Michigan. I do.
Why wouldn't they want to play you?
I have family that's in Southeast Alabama, So, and I have a cousin that graduated in Tuscaloosa. So, that aside, I watched the Georgia game yesterday. I saw Milroe put on his ass so much. I saw Beck hit 4 defensive backs in the hands, 4 easy interceptions, dropped all 4. I mean, if this is the secondary I'm supposed to be afraid of, I'll take that.
There you
I'm
go.
So you're
not
saying,
afraid of Alabama.
We'll see on January 1st.
you're saying Michigan's defense is better than Alabama's defense?
Yes,
was?
I'm on record right now saying Michigan's defense is better than Alabama, and this is not even a judgment call for me.
Oh, I agree, because look at the teams you played this year and the offenses you played. Look at Iowa. Look at East Carolina. Let's look at those.
We're not even on to the bowl game.
Let's look at South
for the
Florida
bowl
and
game
let's get
discussion. Right
Auburn
now, we're
and
talking Florida State getting absolutely fucking hosed because ESPN, SEC bias, and money and ratings for taking a team that went undefeated, did everything they had to freaking do for the committee just to say,
Yeah, that's the topic we should be talking about. I don't know how this turned into an Alabama.
The ACC is garbage this year. I mean, like going through that conference right now. I mean,
it is. But my
look
second,
at who they had to play.
Hang on a minute. Doesn't Texas play in the Big 12? I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is the other point. This is the other point. So people are saying, and the one thing it's in our little highlights and our talking points is everyone all day today, Florida State fans, our strength of schedule. Well, the SEC always says strength of schedule. The SEC had the worst non-conference record for a Power 5 conference this year. How do they get all of a sudden the best strength of schedule records?
Not only that, FSU is 2-0 versus the SEC.
Exactly. That's why I'm wondering why. How does the SEC all of a sudden have the greatest strength of schedule when they have the worst Power 5 non-conference record?
Well, because Alabama, the strength of schedule that helped Alabama was we beat Georgia, who was number 1. We beat Mississippi State, who's in the top 10.
Mississippi, Ole Miss is not Mississippi.
I get what he's saying, though.
But how did Ole Miss get to number? How did Ole Miss get to number 10 when the SEC non-conference was crap, so they were playing?
They're 10-2. That's how they got to number 10.
Who did they play? This is why strength of schedule is a joke metric. Anyone who uses strength of schedule is a joke.
I agree because his point is you're judging SEC teams solely based on the SEC competition. Because if you go outside of the SEC competition, they have a losing record versus the other conferences.
I'll say this though: if Alabama scheduled North Texas instead of Texas, there's no discussion right now, right?
Right.
I mean, so for actually scheduling a difficult non-conference game, they could have been completely left on their ass.
Yeah.
That's why FSU's mad, though, because they scheduled LSU, beat LSU worse than Bama beat LSU, and Bama played LSU.
No. LSU beat Bama worse than Florida State.
No, they did not.
Florida State beat LSU worse than Bama did.
The margin of victory is not the metric here.
And also,
it is because that's a consideration. That's part of the consideration in the CFP. It's common opponents.
Let me say something. So here's my problem with all this top 4 and Florida State being left out, Alabama getting in. So Florida State, we tell the players, and you know this, every coach tells the players and the fan base says, hey, you go undefeated, you're going to be in the playoffs. All you got to do is just win all your games. And the coaches do a good job of breaking it up and saying, we're going to play 3-game segments and we're going to play 4 3-game segments. And we're going to go 3-0 in this one and 3-0 in this one, and breaking it down so that the players buy in. And then Florida State goes and does it, goes 12-0, plays the conference championship, wins that conference championship, makes them 13-0. And Alabama, who has already lost to one of the top 4 teams in the country in Texas, gets in above Florida State. I have a problem with that. Nobody's proven they can beat Florida State yet. Why are they not in this? That's my biggest concern about all this. It's not that Alabama's in it. I think Alabama's, without a doubt, probably one of the better top 5 teams in the country, if not the best.
Well, the cool thing about this, Joey, is
nobody's beaten Florida State yet. Nobody's proven they can beat them. So
Florida State can shut everybody up by beating Georgia in the bowl game. They come out
We
and
all
beat
know
Georgia in the
that's
bowl
not
game.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to. And the other
Yeah,
thing
they shouldn't
is,
have.
this isn't how the committees operated before. TCU wasn't one of the 4 best teams last year.
Neither was
Wait,
Cincinnati.
you do know this is a new committee, right? You know the
Oklahoma-
committee's not the same every year, right?
Bro, listen. I understand that, but listen to what I'm saying. There's still precedent. So Oklahoma, when they didn't win their conference and they got in, wasn't one of the 4 best teams. Cincinnati wasn't one of the 4 best teams. I know Ohio State in 2014.
Cincinnati beat the
I
number
know-
5
No,
team by 2
Cincinnati was
touchdowns
not.
on the
I'm
road.
sorry.
I don't
Cincinnati
remember.
played very
was not
well
one of
though.
the 4 best teams.
King Oklahoma, anytime Oklahoma's gotten in the playoffs, they were a conference champ in all the years they've gotten in.
29. I think it was 2019. One of those years they got in.
No, they've always
and they
been.
weren't-
Oklahoma was
No,
the
they
Big
were
12
always
champ
conference
that
champs.
year. They
Always
beat
have.
the
They've always
they
been
beat the
conference
Baylor
champs.
Bare Necessities in the Big 12 title game.
I think it was. I think they got in. I gotta look back, but I think they got in over someone and they had like a loss. I have to look back. But the point is,
They
they
might have had
won
a
it.
loss, but they were conference champions.
The only
I understand.
comparable
I
to
understand
this,
that. But the point is, they put teams in that are not considered one of the 4 best teams. Ohio State in 2014, they went in over an undefeated TCU.
No,
even though they had
no,
lost to
no,
a
no. We're going to correct that. Yeah, TCU and Baylor each had one loss. The Big 12 did not have a Big 12 championship. They had co-champions. That screwed the Big 12 that year. The difference that year with Ohio State Ohio State had their 3rd string quarterback, of course, with Cardell Jones. The difference is in their championship game, they blew out Wisconsin like 55 or 59 to nothing.
59-0.
Yeah, they didn't win 15-6 or 16-6. You know,
Okay,
that's
so-
the difference.
So now
Yeah,
if
they were
you're
12-1. My bad. They were 12.
2014, they lost to Baylor, King North, and Baylor lost to West Virginia.
Right.
And when TCU got left out, they smacked Ole Miss 42-3 in the Peach Bowl, and Baylor pissed away a 20-point lead, 41-21, and lost 42-41 against Michigan State.
The whole point is the only comparable thing to FSU is the Ohio State team, but the Ohio State team blew out Wisconsin in the championship game, whereas FSU could. I mean, I swear to God, I literally took a nap last night. I watched the first quarter of both championship games, and I took a nap. I got up as FSU was celebrating their win. He had 55 yards passing against Louisville. 55 yards. So granted, it's not maybe the same. Rodemaker might come back. I understand where the committee came from looking at that, going, yeah.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Joey, Mike, and the Kings of the North, let me ask you this. How many paychecks are you willing to put on Florida State if Florida State played Alabama this weekend in a bowl? How much money are you putting on Florida State to beat us? Why?
That's not the point. I think Alabama's the better team, but guess what? Alabama has a loss. They didn't earn it the way FSU did.
The playoffs were meant to have the best 4 teams in.
That's not how they've operated, though. That's not how they've operated.
That's what they've always said, the best 4. They didn't let the best 4 in last year, and what happened? TCU got their ass spanked.
Okay, but they've done. The precedent has been you earn your spot, not that we think you're the best team, one of the 4 best teams. That's never how they've operated. This is the first year they've done something like this.
Well, it's a new committee, and I guess we don't have to worry about this anymore because next year we're going to 12 teams, and this won't happen.
Well, let me say this. This, you know,
and 13 cries they don't deserve it.
I'm talking about Florida State getting cheated. I don't want anybody to think I'm some kind of Florida State fan and I'm in Florida State's corner, because I'm not. This goes back to prove and that the new bowl system is not as good as the old bowl system in any way, and here's why. 1993, West Virginia was undefeated, as was Nebraska. They were the only 2 undefeated teams. Nebraska was number 1, West Virginia was number 2. But Florida State, who had 1 loss, got to play Nebraska for the national championship. They jumped West Virginia. So Florida State got to play Nebraska for the national championship in 93. So, you know, this is how Florida State fans are feeling right now, is exactly how West Virginia fans felt in 1993. So, you know, even though you have a new bowl system and you got the 4 playoff teams and stuff, the problems still exist just like they did back then. And the problems will still exist when we have 12-team playoffs. I'm sorry, they will. There's no
No,
actual.
here's my point, Joey, on that. Hang on. Here's my point on that. If you're complaining that you're the 13th or the 12th best team in the country, you don't deserve to be there, period. Quite frankly, also, going back to the old days, being the third, going back to 5th or the 4th, play better. The problem is with Florida State, they did play better.
They did.
And I'm not a big fan of rematches, because now you have a situation with Alabama and Texas. And Texas beat them on the field in Tuscaloosa by multiple scores. And now they got to play them again, possibly, in order to win the national championship.
Yeah, but
I'm not a big fan of rematch.
Tell you, I hate that too. And Alabama did that to LSU, and we won, and we lost 2 years ago to Georgia. And I said this: I don't like that. I don't like rematch.
But in what other sport does that make sense? Like, in what other sport can you say we beat you once, therefore we're automatically better than you?
We beat you last. No, we beat you last. Therefore, we're better. Yeah, we win the title. The thing here is that this is truly we're trying to build towards the whole idea of the playoffs because it's just an invitational, right? We just saw it today. We saw it's an invitational, not a playoff. FSU played itself in, and they're left out. So it's not a playoff, in my opinion. And all this is a glorified BCS now. Throw the computers out. And it's even worse so because you know what? Now you got how can you control anything in life? Get a small group of people to decide, right? And so you have a committee instead of a couple polls where there's a bunch of people voting. You have a committee who can be controlled by that. I mean, anybody that watched Game Day yesterday, thank you. And he walks out there. Look, which one of these teams is different than the others? Oh, the one that plays 8 conference games. Yeah, that one. They're different than everybody else. Everyone plays 9 conference games. But when he came on there, he came on there talking like, well, we're the SEC. SEC should always have somebody to play. That whole shit on ESPN is I just turn it off, and it's probably the last time I watched Game Day because that's exactly they're a shill for the SEC. Is FSU one of the top 4 teams in the country? Absolutely not. But watching, I wish I hadn't seen the clip of Norvell and his team being told, by the way, you scheduled LSU in the preseason like everyone wants to see. You went out and got some good competitions out of conference. You ran through your schedule. You went 13-0, won your conference. But by the way, you're staying home. That's just bullshit, period.
I just have a problem with
I 100% agree with that.
I just have a problem
I 100% agree with that.
Last week, if they're ranked in the top 4 last week, why are they not in the top 4 this week?
Then you're also saying Alabama. If you just don't schedule anybody ever, if you don't expose yourself to any risk in the non-conference, you're in.
Yeah. And can somebody also explain to me,
Joey?
You schedule Arkansas State that week instead of Texas.
Joey, to answer your point, though, Joey, to answer your point,
zero controversy here.
Joey, to answer your point, how you can be not in the top 4 and then jump to the top 4, you beat the number 1 team in the country.
I think,
when that game started, I looked at my wife Yvette and I said, if Alabama wins this game, there's going to be some huge controversy that's going to come out of it. And Alabama's probably going to win it. I felt like Alabama was going to win it. I bet on Alabama to win it, and felt like they was going to win it. But that caused this controversy, and I'm sorry. I just feel like that Florida State got screwed. Even though I don't feel like they deserved it. And I agree with the committee. I agree with their picks. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I can agree with what Florida State's saying too. That they deserved it. They done everything.
Also, look at what Florida State did. Who are the 3 conferences that were against going in to the
ACC was against playoff expansion. I bet they're all for it now.
Okay, well, here's a good question. Florida State is deserving to go in because they went 13-0, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Listen, their strength of schedule is better than Michigan. They have better wins than Michigan, and they played
their strength of schedule is not better than Michigan. Their strength of schedule is not better than Michigan's. That's a lie.
Maybe.
All right, here we go with this scrappy, made-up metric.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Michigan's strength of schedule is 33rd. Florida State's is 55th. I don't know where
You're not
getting that
33rd with your. You can't
Yes,
tell
we
me.
are, bro. You go on ESPN right now. Go on.
Depending on the metrics, but you cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot even
Yeah,
argue
he's wrong.
that.
Like
You played all.
Hey guys, can we try to do one at a time? This is get a bit chaotic.
And plus, before this, I already debunked that the strength of schedule is a joke metric that is
Yeah,
unrealistic.
that's true
It doesn't
too.
matter.
And he's also just wrong. Like you go on ESPN right now, and Michigan's strength of schedule is 33rd. So I don't know where he's getting his numbers.
To give an example of a joke metric, it's like Appalachian State's strength of schedule a couple of years ago was like 100 and something, and on Arkansas' strength of schedule was like 10 or 11, and in Appalachian State when they're in beat Arkansas.
Yeah, and also how can the SEC have stronger strength of schedules when they only play 8 conference games and one of them is Chattanooga, second to last week of the season? That's what I also don't get about that metric.
Oh, so by playing Chattanooga the first week, like Michigan would do, that makes them.
Well, you play 4 out of. Here's my problem: you play 4 out of conference, and 3 of them are trash.
Back to the topic
But you
here.
play
When
3
you
out
guys
of
get to
conference and
Michigan,
all 3 of yours
Alabama,
was
you guys
trash.
can go at it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but we
and
played
Jackson
9
will have
in
the timer.
conference. So
Well,
congratulations.
Here's the other thing. Now that I
Time out.
in here, here's the other thing. The other problem with Florida State is because the Alabama loss was to Texas, and the problem right there is Alabama and Texas are intricately linked in this one. So you can't, if you want to put Alabama in, you have to put Texas in, and that screwed Florida State as well. And that's what I don't like. And if you want to go about a metric, I'll go this one. You want to know what Florida State's strength of record is? They were 3rd in the nation in strength of record. So I don't, all this strength of schedule missed me with that.
Yeah. All right, Ben, moving on.
Yeah. So what's unfortunate is that you could tell too is Florida State knew what was going to happen because the AD had already pre-written his Twitter message about it when they got left out. I mean, he'd already had that thing written out. They knew it was coming up. And I do have to call out though. So I'm on board. I'm on kind of equal sides. I get why FSU got left out. I think it's still crap. But I will tell FSU fans, specifically one specific blog or other podcast, hey, what did the Pac-12 do to you? All I heard during this whole show is going, Washington got in. What the hell did the Pac-12 do to you? Lay off Washington. They went 13-0. They won their conference. We lost our fucking conference. So FSU fans that are talking crap about Washington, you shut the hell up. Straight up.
I think, Ben, as much as I make fun of the Ducks, Ben, you guys have been a top 10, top 5 team pretty much, the whole season, and they beat you guys twice. Who else in that group has beat a caliber team like Oregon twice? So it's definitely not FSU.
Well,
it's definitely not FSU.
Pulling out the strength of schedule, and I was like, oh, get over it. Like, who cares? Well, the Pac-12 lost their conference. We lost the conference.
It's hard to beat the same team twice.
Now that's a rumor. Tim, you want to hang on to that one?
What's that?
How hard it is to beat the same team twice?
Well, I mean, it's not quite an axiom, but it is a rule in all sports. But yeah, what do you want to tackle it?
No, I was thinking of Utah.
If we see an announcement that Florida State's leaving the ACC, do not be surprised if this day is one of the main reasons why they're leaving the ACC. Because, I mean, I know that there were rumors over the summer where Florida State was just unsatisfied about their place in the ACC. I mean, this would not surprise me.
The revenue share is terrible. I mean, you get a lot more in the SEC or the Big Ten. Like, I think that's
I have to stop here for a second right here. I have to highlight this. No one. I'm not complaining anything about Oregon. I'm telling FSU fans, leave Washington alone. It's not Washington's fault that they got in. Blame ESPN. Blame SEC. Blame the money and the marketers. Blame that crap. Don't blame Washington.
Right. Well,
in
past
Oregon.
years, we've seen ESPN, had a hand in the Big East being destroyed, the old Big East, of course. We've seen the old Pac-12 get destroyed because of ESPN. We saw the Big 12; they almost got destroyed because of ESPN. I would not be surprised if the ACC gets destroyed because of ESPN. Because I mean, that would
It's
not
very
surprise me a
possible.
bit.
And I mean, like the only thing saving the ACC right now is that grant of rights deal, which just binds.
True.
And,
I mean, you're gonna.
that feels like a stay of execution to me. I mean, like the ACC by the mid 20 or like the late 2020s will be gone, I think, or it will be reformed in some way that doesn't resemble it now.
But I do suspect that next year, I mean, if you think who should be number 4 or 5 is a big debate, who should be number 11, 12, or 13, that's going to be a big debate. Everybody's just going to be sitting there going,
What would the debate be like this year?
Yeah, but
one of the big debates could be who's number 4 and who's number 5. Because think about this: number 4 gets to set home week 1.
Of course,
that could be a huge. And then also look who's going to be number 8 or who's going to be number 9. Because 8th you're at home and number 9 you're going on the road.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the keys. Not so much who gets in, but where we're putting everybody.
No, I mean,
you'll have to ask. You have to ask ESPN where we're going to put people because they'll let us know.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams next year that are going to be going, how about me, boss? Oh, yeah, 1 for you. And me, boss. And 1 for you. And me, boss. Oh, yeah, 1 for you. None for Gretchen. Bye. That's how it's going to be right
Come
there.
straighten this all out, Mark.
No, I'm ignoring Mark.
Hey, I got a question for the panel. You guys, would you rather see a committee, or would you rather go back to the old system of having polls for the 12, for seeing the 12? Because again, you can control, a committee. You can't control the polls. And I definitely think there's some serious collusion between Fox, ESPN, and this playoff, and we need to get rid of that shit. At least do that. Then it's not this. Then it's more organic. And if someone gets, and again, though, if you're number 13, you get left out, you need to shut the hell up because that's, we're talking about college football and you've got no chance. But I'd like to see, I know Mark's a huge fan of the AP poll, but I mean, I'd rather have that than have a group of people that are colluding with bean counters and all these guys are talking about what would be the best for the TV situation. I want to get rid of that committee and put the polls back in. What do you guys think?
I like the whole BCS system. The whole problem with the BCS is that it only included 2 teams in the championship.
Well, no, I mean we can move it down.
I like the objective criteria and the poll system. I like incorporating both of them into it.
Well, I think the 12-team playoff is going to fit. Even with the committee, I feel like it's going to be a lot less controversy. So I'm not.
No, the seeding. Again, you listening? The seeding. They're going to control. It's going to be a huge. Listen, you're going to have a path. Now, I like the fact that you got to win your conference because right there, boom, all this stacking conferences stuff goes out the window. You'll get there, but you got to play a really rough road to get to that game. You'll have a rougher road to get there if you don't win your conference. I really like that. But no, you can still control what the seeding is.
Discussion anyway, right?
Huh?
Okay, guys.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt anything. Go ahead.
Go, Ben.
No, to begin with Tim's point, though, the problem ain't who's going to be in. It's going to be the seeding. Who's going to be number 4? Who's going to be number 5? And then who gets the number 8 spot versus who gets the number 9? Who's going to get home field? Who's going to have to go on the road?
Well, we'll find
these are far more like Picayune, like very smaller deliberations than we have of who gets in or who doesn't.
There's a
well, I wouldn't say that much more, Sean. I get you. Obviously, getting in, getting out. But playing at home as opposed to playing on the road, you don't think that's gonna be significant?
Or getting a bye?
It's fairly significant, but if you want to be a national champion, you've gotta overcome.
Yeah, you gotta be.
If you want to be that,
I think the main thing is just having a shot. That's the main thing.
Is that coming from the Big Ten people always say the reason why that they always lose the Rose Bowls because it was played so close to California? I mean, are we still having this conversation? Because that's what I hear all the time from you guys. Now all of a sudden, where you play the game doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not sure which one is it.
Well, I'm not on that train. I've never said that. So
Hey, I'm not 60 years old, so I've never made that argument in my life. So
Well, we're going to talk about
Well,
that because Michigan did take the Rose Bowl. So, but Erica, always our loyal Iowa fan here. But yeah, some people missing the point. You don't decide who to put in based on what outcome of the playoff game will be. FSU earned it. College football is about money. Yes, it is. College football is an absolute juggernaut when it comes to making money. There's no doubt about that. What drives all revenue in the sports for most universities? Football.
Well, and to kind of prove that point, look at the Big 12 championship. When the game was over, did everybody enjoy seeing The Undertaker come out and give the WWE belt to Texas? I mean, I thought that was something, huh?
I turned it off for that.
Can you believe that? They're with the WWE
this
now?
is the first time.
Yeah, oh
hearing
yeah.
it, so.
Big money in that.
And I mean,
Anytime you could add Vince McMahon's money in, you're adding money to your pockets.
like the military flyovers and stuff.
Well,
Yep.
once again, thank you, Erica. As always, all the super chatters. It's always appreciated right here. It helps the channel a lot. We appreciate it. And for the insight right there, because that's it. I have to agree with that. And I had my little rant about FSU blaming the Pac-12 for absolutely no reason. I guess what it was is you guys have already been going at it, but what do we think? Playoff games, first ones, 1 versus number 4, Michigan versus Alabama at the Rose Bowl.
Man. The granddad.
And I do want to bring this up. I do want to bring this up. It didn't look as bad on video when I did see it after I heard about it, but as soon as Michigan saw announcement that it was Alabama, they kind of went.
I'm gonna make my prediction.
Well,
now.
I think part of that was just they were genuinely surprised that FSU didn't get the spot. But I don't think it's the best matchup for Michigan. As a Michigan fan, I don't think it's the best matchup for Michigan. I'll just say that.
And
I'm going to say right now, Alabama will beat Michigan, and I think Texas is going to beat Washington, and we're just going to have a rematch of Alabama and Texas.
As soon as I saw that Tide guy, I was like, oh, it's set. We're having a Bama Texas rematch, and Bama's going to win. And just so everybody could shut up on Nick Saban and blah. I saw the writing on the wall as soon as they put Texas in at 3 and Bama in at 4. I was like, it's already set. It's
here's my problem with that, though. And I would like to play Texas again and beat them and, make up for that. And I'm not rooting for either one of the team. I don't care. But I do think people who are writing Washington off is making a mistake.
Yeah.
That Washington team is good. That Washington team plays an offense very similar to what Oklahoma played, and Oklahoma beat Texas. Now, I'm not saying that Washington's going to win. I wouldn't put money on it either way. But I do think that thinking that Texas is just going to run away with that game, I'm not sure that that's going to happen.
No, everyone thought Michigan was going to run away from TCU last year.
Well, I think both games are toss-up games, but I think that Michigan has the worst matchup for them out of the 4.
And see, it's all opinion because I think Bama is the best of the 3 for us.
Why do you think that? I gotta hear why you think that.
Well, I guess you weren't here when I talked about it earlier. Alabama, they cannot protect Milroe. The front 4 on Michigan is going to get to Milroe. I think that Will Johnson can shut Jermaine Burton down. I think that Minter has the tools in the secondary that he can play a strict man-on-man with their wide receivers, which do not scare me. I am sorry, Jeff. They do not scare me. Not after what we had to play against with Ohio State. And then we just need to put consistent pressure, have a spy on Milroe, make sure Milroe does not beat us with his legs because Milroe is not beating us with his arm.
I think the bigger issue for me, though, is 2 things. I think that the front 7 of Alabama is going to give Michigan problems, 1. And I think that Milroe is just an X factor. It's hard to account for his legs. And to me, that's just a question mark going into the game. So
And that's what I'm saying. You want to just do what you can to limit Milroe's running.
But you got to use more than one spy, Mike.
You can't play pure man coverage against Milroe because as soon as everyone drops, he'll take off and he'll get 10 yards at will.
Well, they'd have to do man with the spy is what they would have to do. But
Well, I don't think one. Yeah, like I said, like Ty guy said, I don't think one spy does the job here. I mean, he's too dynamic.
Yeah, you need one on each side. That's what Georgia did. They put one on each side.
I don't agree with that, though, honestly.
Well, we haven't seen. Well, Michigan has not seen a quarterback like Milroe all year. This defense has not seen anyone close to. I mean, even close to the athleticism.
No,
so it'll be interesting how you guys do defend it. Do you have the athleticism?
No, I agree. It's very interesting. And to be honest, anyone outside of Texas and teams that have played Bama, no one's seen a quarterback like Milroe. I don't think people realize how unique Milroe is in terms of how dynamic he is.
And going back, if you're looking at Texas and how they defended Milroe and how they that was a lot. You guys people forget this all the time. Milroe is not the same quarterback he was 10 games ago, 11, 12 games. He's not the same quarterback at all. He's gotten better every week. And that's believe it or not, that's what quarterbacks do.
Okay, if he's that good,
I agree.
If he's that good of a quarterback, why did it take fourth in a country mile to beat Auburn?
I don't think he's
Do you know why we were at fourth in a mile, Mike? Do you know
why?
Because a bad snap.
No. What happened? And the SEC has already addressed this. Auburn clapped and caused our center to snap the ball. They refused to play, and they were. You cannot clap. The defense cannot.
It's just 30 signals. It's a delayed game on the defense.
Yeah. And they clapped, and it caused our center to snap the ball. That's why we were 4th and 31.
Yeah, but that happens. That does happen in games, and refs don't always catch it.
Right, but I mean,
wait. Did that clap cause Milroe to throw the ball 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage when he did?
Well, they don't have to worry about it because Michigan doesn't have a problem with signals.
Right.
There you go.
Already got them.
Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Milroe also had a huge mistake on that same sequence. So I mean, don't forget about that.
He threw the ball like 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
The only reason that even happened is because of a muff punt.
You can't count on stuff like that to happen if you're Michigan. Like
I think all of college football has to be glad that he's a quarterback.
With 3 minutes to go, giving Alabama the ball back. Otherwise, the game's over.
Oh, that's true too. I mean, Alabama shouldn't even had the opportunity to even do that. If we're being honest, but at the end of the day, it's not a good. To me, in my opinion, I disagree with Mike Ford. I think it's not the best matchup for Michigan. I just don't.
Okay, panel. Who are the two best teams in college football right now? Georgia and Alabama. Raise your hand if you agree with me.
I say Alabama.
Neither one.
I'm taking
Michigan.
I'll go the 4 best teams are Georgia, Bama, Michigan, Ohio.
No, who are the top 2 teams? Because listen, nobody knows who the top 4 teams are, so let's make it simpler.
Michigan, Washington.
Washington, you can say Washington. Yeah, you can say Washington.
No, come on.
And they'll both be underdogs. Michigan and Washington are.
You don't think Washington's a top 2 team, Tim?
I'm on record for Michigan and Texas.
You don't think Washington is a top 2 team to what they've done this year?
No. Sorry. They're a top.
Really?
I would put them in top. I would put them in top 4, but I don't put them in top 2. No.
I would put Washington at 4th. I think they're the 4th best.
Yeah, I don't.
There's also no clear runaway best team this year. In my opinion,
there's definitely not.
No,
right now, Michigan is the top team. Right now,
ranking wise, but I mean, there's no clear gap between the best team. If you want to say Michigan's the best, there's no clear gap from them.
That's why I like this 4. That's why I like this 4 because there isn't no real 1 and real 4. Either one of these 4 teams can come out of this and win. It's not like you've got TCU or Cincinnati in there and you're going, well, that's fucking, you know.
I'll be honest. I'll be very, very surprised if Washington comes out of this whole thing as a champion. I'll be very.
I won't.
Surprised. You won't.
I would be just as surprised if Michigan did.
The one thing Michigan's going to have to do.
The only reason I would be as a Michigan
Sean,
fan would be
what's the
more
fundamental
surprised.
flaw? What's their fundamental flaw, Sean?
They can't. They're very mediocre defending the run. They're not a balanced offensive team.
Hang on.
John,
Oregon had one of the better rushing teams in the country. What are you talking about? They're mediocre against the run.
Oregon
here was something that happened in that game.
3 yards.
Washington got out to a big lead pretty early in that game, and it negated Oregon's ability to win the football. It really did. I mean, like that absolutely did.
And they're also one of the would you say they're probably top 3 offense in the country?
Oh yeah.
See, when people pick one little corner say, oh, they're kind of mediocre in half of their offense, but then you forget about the fact that they are probably the best passing offense in the country, and they got a banger strong running back with going behind a very veteran line. That's what you don't realize is that
Oregon against Pac-12
I've watched almost every game they played this year.
Oregon did not give up 100-yard rusher to any team all year except for one, Washington. Dylan Johnson both times a $118 in game 1 in Seattle, and he had a $164 on Friday night in Vegas.
No, I think we gave up over 100
on a bum leg.
Spaz, I'm going to correct you. We gave up, I believe, over 100 to Tyler Shuck as quarterback. I think he had 110. Yeah, so that's why I say watch your stats before you go running mouths. Come on, people. I'm probably the modest Duck fan.
Sean, we can also say that Michigan's pretty mediocre. Michigan's pretty mediocre in their passing game, correct? We all agree with that?
Yeah.
Mediocre at best.
No.
Yes?
They've also played. I would make the argument that
mediocre at best.
There's a difference between not doing it and not being able to do it.
I would make the argument that Michigan's also played 3 of the best defenses in the last 4 weeks. They played Penn State, they played Ohio State, which arguably is the best defense. You can make that argument. And then they played Iowa, who's another top 5 defense. So we could criticize their pass game, but they've also played three better defenses than most of the country has played.
There is
in the latter end of the
season.
I'll grant them some grace for this last week. I don't
Nick's
think they were showing it.
Mark's in the chat. Hold on. So Mark's saying no. What Michigan receiver are anyone shaking their boots about?
Roman Wilson.
Let's be clear though. Michigan doesn't have an elite
double team of Mike, one guy.
They don't have
not good at all.
But they said there's a difference between not being able to pass and just choosing not to pass as a philosophy. Michigan's passing game is very efficient and it's very capable. It's just not that schematic for Sharon Moore. It doesn't mean that that JJ can't do it. It is
right. So it's not good. It's not bad. It's mediocre.
Oh, come on.
No, I would say it's good and not elite. To say it's mediocre is like, I want to call it mediocre. You're playing 3 of the best defenses in the country. Like
I played some of the best defenses in the country too, and Bo Nix still went for 300+ yards almost every game.
Yeah, Oregon's defense is not on the same level as Penn State and Ohio State's, and I would actually make the argument it's not even on the same level as Iowa's.
Miss me.
It's not. I mean, it's definitely not on the level of Penn State and Ohio State. It's not even close. They're in 2 different galaxies.
I want some of the drugs you're on because obviously you don't watch any football outside of Michigan.
I mean, I do think that let's just go with Ohio State. Do you think Oregon's defense is on the same level as Ohio State's defense?
No.
Well,
I don't even think it's a debate.
He didn't say Oregon's defense. He said Oregon played against defenses. Yeah, he didn't actually say Oregon's defense.
Okay, Oregon's best.
Okay,
defense,
well, what defense did Oregon play that's on that level?
Probably what?
Well, what offenses like Oregon's defense has Michigan seen?
Utah, Arizona. Oh no, we didn't play. Utah,
You know what?
Utah's defense has been
Utah's defense has been overrated. USC put up tons of numbers. Oregon put up tons of numbers. Arizona put up tons of numbers. Utah has been giving up a lot of.
But Mike, you just named 3 of the top 15 offenses in the country. Of course, you give up numbers.
Yeah, and also Utah can't stay on the field in any of these games. So their defense.
I think anyone that's honestly having a serious discussion in Oregon that has played a defense on the level of Ohio State is I can't even entertain it. Like, it's crazy.
I don't. What's your point though? That's one game.
Well, Penn State also. Penn State's also a top 3 defense. Iowa's in the top 5. I mean, my point is when you're criticizing the pass game, you also have to realize they're playing 3 top 5 defenses in the last 4 weeks.
There's no question. That the offenses in the Pac-12 are superior to the Big Ten. There is no question to that. Period. Whether you talk about how great your defenses are, the offenses in the Pac-12 are far superior to what you see in the Big Ten.
No
period.
No argument.
Period.
No, yeah, Pac-12's got better offenses, but they're also going up against worse defenses. So, I mean,
this is the same argument we have every time. Is it the quality of defenses or the quality of offenses? Or maybe it's a little bit of both.
We're stuck in a chicken and egg thing here.
Yeah, right, exactly. Argument. Like,
that's my point, Mike.
Never end.
There's such a small differential too. I mean, in the realm of things, if you look at it, 1 yard per game can jump you 10 spots in the defensive ranking. That's how minuscule it is between, say, a top 15 and a top 35. Literally 5 yards a game. That's how kind of stupid those are.
Well, I think in a month who is right and who's wrong.
Marching in Ann Arbor next year,
play each other. We're gonna know.
You guys,
there you go.
Don't cry.
That's why you play these games on the field. I do have to touch upon these before we get backed up because they're going to have some sort of discussion each with them. I'm going to hit it first because it came in first, so I want to make sure we don't forget about it. Which commissioner got the worst boo by the fan after the game? I would assume Kliakov.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By far, probably.
I don't know.
Possibly Petey and Kliakov. I thought
Brent Urmark got a pretty good laugh by Texas when he, because he was clearly on the fence against Texas getting the playoffs. So
true, that is true.
Brent Urmark got a pretty good laugh there.
But CD got the worst boo by far.
Yeah, I heard today that Harbaugh gave him some choice words that were off camera.
Yeah, it was basically like a Bill Belichick, Roger Goodell thing.
I want to hear what the off-choice words were.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Harbaugh trolled. Well, it was 2 things. They gave the trophy to Zach Zenner, right? And if you remember in the letter, Petiti cited player safety as a reason to suspend him. So I think one, he wanted to give it to his captain. But secondly, part of that thing is, look, man, you cite player safety. The only player that really got hurt through this whole thing was my captain. How about you give him the trophy?
Well, there was definitely some booing going on, or indifference, maybe even. Okay, I don't know what just happened there or who did that, but
what happened?
So, thank you, Matt Ritson. Wow. I do think it was a.
What is going on?
I don't know who's doing what. I'm not doing anything.
That was not me. I tried to fix it. Whoever did the first time, I wouldn't try to adjust it.
No idea. I don't touch those. I leave them as is.
Well, me and you and Ben are in control of it.
I don't touch it. I don't touch those because it screws everything up. So, thank you, Matt Ritson, because I bet, there were definitely 3 commissioners that could have taken that award, I'm sure, for the booing and the jeering from all the fans. So, thank you again for that super chat. Then we had this one come in from Matthew Miller. Washington is a bad matchup for us. I actually like our chances much better with Bama or Michigan winner. And our front seven is our strength, not the back end. So I'm assuming this is Texas. Yeah, I'm assuming this is Texas. They're remembering what happened last year because they did lose to Washington in the bowl game last year in the Alamo.
I'm
so
and Washington, they have what it takes to beat Texas, no, without a doubt. But I just think Texas is so much better of a team this year than a lot of people really think. They have the one loss, but still they're just a better team than people are thinking. I know everybody wants to think back over the years past. Texas is back, and they've not been back. Texas might actually be back this year, So
Oh yeah.
They're much closer than they've been.
Yeah,
I remember.
I just think Texas will beat Washington this year. It's going to be a great game, no doubt about it. It's going to be a great game.
The one bad thing for
before I quit,
and that's a prime time. That's a prime time game this year, right? Washington.
Hold on,
Texas.
let me say something before I quit talking. Let me say something because I've not got to get in here for a minute.
Yeah.
One thing about all four of these teams in the top four, they have none of them beat Florida State, and they ain't none of them beat a team that beat Florida State because nobody's beat Florida State. So why the hell is not Florida State in there? That's all I wanted to say. But okay, go on.
Well, I mean,
the one thing
I can understand this because, like I say, Texas. I think Texas is a bad matchup for a lot of people. I think Washington's probably their best matchup would be my guess. I think that I think Texas front four, especially. I think Trevondre Sweat. Is that how you pronounce it? Trevondre Sweat or something like that. I think he's going to put Tavondre. I think he's going to be chasing Penix around all night. I think that Washington's probably their best shot.
What about Liberty? They're 13-0. Why isn't anybody complaining about them?
All right, now let me give you a clear example why you don't choose Liberty. The four best teams in the country on a group of 5 level were Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU. Without a doubt, they were the 4 best group of 5 teams. They came into the Big 12 this year. Tell me what all of them's records are. None of them have a winning record. They're all horrible because they can't play a Power 5 schedule. That's the same reason you don't say Liberty can be in there, because if they had to play a Power 5 schedule week in and week out and play an Alabama or a Georgia or a Texas or Oklahoma or West Virginia or USC for that matter, they can't win those games.
Tulane beat USC in the bowl game last year. Just ask Tim Prangley.
Yeah,
he knows all about it.
Every week there's a difference, and Liberty's later. Liberty did have one of the worst, quote unquote, regular seasons, like against their opponents. Like they still went undefeated, but I mean they were trash teams.
Their strength of schedule might have been dead last in the country.
I will say,
but as to,
go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. Because I was going to wrap up the super chat and move on to the next one. I'd say we got to keep moving, guys. Otherwise, we'll be here all night.
Hey, we're already there. We're setting a record tonight.
Well,
shut up, or I'm muting you.
If Michigan beats Bama in the Rose Bowl, the funny thing is about when they go up against the winner, if they go up against the winner of Washington or Texas, it'll be funny next year because Washington and Texas are both on Michigan's schedule for 2024. Texas be on for week 2, and Washington's going to be on for week 6. So that's going to be pretty funny, man.
Best comment of the night. Listen right here.
Michigan has like one of the toughest schedules ever next year.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
It is like all time. I mean, it's like, especially for what will probably be kind of a rebuilding year for Michigan. Maybe a massive rebuilding year, depending on what the NCAA has to say about it. But
I wish they could replace.
You just had to
Arkansas
slide that in
State.
there, man. You just had to slide that in.
I wish they could replace Arkansas State with Notre Dame. That'd be tremendous. I want to see that Michigan Notre Dame game back.
Well,
you
again,
have to tell Notre Dame to schedule again.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, Matthew Miller, for that. I think one thing, Texas does have to worry about is, remember, Washington has been kind of slow and dinged up, and now they get a month to recover, much like Texas.
I will say I think Washington is stylistically the worst matchup for Texas. I agree with Matthew on that comment. I just don't know if, as far as quality goes, if they can really match up.
Again, thank you, Matthew Miller. And then we got Shadyville03 right here. JJ McCarthy is the X factor. He can win or lose the game. It depends on which McCarthy shows up.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
The thing with JJ is,
he seems to always when it's a big game or a rival game, he seems to always rise to the occasion. But then he has these games like he has against Iowa or lesser
TCU.
competition where you're like, who is this guy? Like this isn't even the same guy.
Well, McCarthy's
Did
known
they
for
show up last year on the bowl game though? I mean,
yeah, that's
in
right.
the against
you know
TCU,
what?
I mean, that
People
was not a great
criticize
game
him for that game, which they should, because he had the 2 pick sixes, but he also recovered really well in that game. He threw for almost 400 yards, ran for another 40. Like he recovered well outside of those 2 pick sixes, which yes, they're huge. He actually played pretty well. I mean, they scored 45 points. So
Well, and I know there's a lot of concern about how Michigan might perform because in years past, they haven't performed well in the New Year's Six or in the playoffs in the past 2 years. But I think there's going to be a different factor. I know Michigan's going to bring their A game against the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're not going to be doing that playing down crap like they did to TCU last year. Because, I mean, they learned a lot from last year's experience. And another thing, everybody brings their A game against Alabama. What'd you say, Joey?
And also this month is huge for Michigan. This month off is huge for Michigan because they're really banged up right now. JJ, just so everyone knows, JJ's it hasn't been 100% since Penn State. There's a reason they're running Alex Orji on read options and not JJ. That's JJ's.
What kind of name is Orgy? Good grief.
That's his name.
So best name in college.
Hey, we're not going to
best name in college.
And
that is
also,
true.
Will Johnson,
Orgy in the end zone.
Will Johnson are probably one of the top 3 defensive back in the country.
If you go back and watch the Ohio State game, notice that they didn't run JJ one time. They actually brought in Alex Orji to run it because his ankle's not 100%. So he needs this month off. And also the O-line is completely makeshift right now. So they need this.
Yeah, Trent needs
to Jackson Johnson. Let me answer your question there real quick. Michigan didn't beat TCU last year because they were down. They didn't beat them because they didn't have the speed. TCU had a lot of speed last year. I mean, anybody that watched that game just knows the speed killed Michigan. It wasn't anything else. The speed of TCU, they were really quick, and everything they did, decision making, the catches, the play run, everything was just so much faster than what Michigan was used to keeping up with in the Big Ten.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with that. Because Ohio State had just as much speed as TCU, if not more.
Oh yeah.
And really, that game came down to 2 pick sixes. I mean, they lost the game by 6. They lost the game by 6 points and threw 2 pick sixes, and then also the Roman touchdown, which was they called not a touchdown, and then they fumbled on 1st and goal from the inch line. The speed was an issue; it was mistakes.
It's also what happens when you don't have. It's also what happens when you. It also happens when you don't have the other team's signs.
Oh, let's stop.
Well, I mean, I think that narrative's pretty dead now. I mean, we just went 3 games with a backup head coach, no Connor Stallions, and beat 2 top 10 teams, which no other team has.
A coach that could coach during the week. But I do agree.
No
it doesn't mean they didn't have it doesn't mean they didn't have the signs before the games ever started.
I do agree with this though. It does depend. The quarterback is the most important position on the field. I think that's not even a question. So it depends on exactly which quarterback shows up. The one who's almost flawless or the one who makes several mistakes.
No.
So I do have to agree with that.
Thank
you for that.
What's sad about this year, Mike Ford, this is for you, Mike. What's sad about this year is that Michigan probably has one of the best teams in the country, if not the best teams in the country. And this scandal about sign stealing is going to follow you guys around for years. Even if you win the Natty, and even if you don't have to vacate the victory, it's going to follow you around for years. Just the scandal.
Well, first of all,
that's fine. I mean, Signgate followed the Patriots around, and I think most people don't really care 15 years later. So
you have to realize one thing you got to realize is it's not even about the facts. Yep. The fans are gonna layer up bullshit, make it more than it was, smear you guys left, right, and center. So just get ready for it. I'm telling you, trust me, I know. They'll make it it actually was to make it seem like you don't deserve anything. You watch.
Yeah.
You guys watch.
Oh, I'm already
not gonna
knowing.
be
Ohio State fans do that every day. You go
No,
on
it won't be
Twitter,
Ohio
man.
State. It'll
Ohio
be
State fans
all
go
the
crazy.
fans. It will be
Well,
all
yeah,
the
no, I
fans.
know.
There's
Yeah, I
not
know.
going to be there's not going to be any bowl bans or game violations over level 2 and level 3 violations. That's not going to happen.
Mike, it was cheating. Mike, it was
Trust me, the word cheating is going to cost you.
I'm telling you right now, you're not surviving those.
Yeah.
Those are going to be vacated.
You're going to lose games. Sorry to tell you.
They're not vacated, bro.
I will put money on
They
that.
will be
There's not going to
vacated.
be one vacate. There's going to be some fines. There'll be fines. There might be a couple of scholarship
Bro,
reductions.
Tennessee had 18 level 1 violations.
You guys, it will not
nothing
be the
vacated.
sanctions. Hang on. It's not going to be the sanctions that will hurt you. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying, and believe me, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying you guys get drugged through the mud. People make it seem like you cheated more than you actually did, and invalidate whatever happens. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I
Do you
agree with
think
that.
I
Tim.
give a good hot damn?
I think anybody that's saying they're going to vacate wins, though. I think they need to slow down.
I mean, people just want to sit there and poke at it, and the 99.9% of these people that are talking about that don't know shit about what they're talking about. They're running on a media narrative, and they're running on their own damn.
You're
bias.
talking to an SC guy, the Reggie Bush situation. Trust me, I know. That's why I'm trying to tell you that the facts won't get. Listen, don't let the facts get away with a good story. You know, it's going to be pretty soon that Jim Harbaugh was cracking into and breaking into, like a Watergate hotel situation, stealing their playbook, and the story is going to be ridiculous because that's what happens on the internet.
Well, we can't control the story. If that's what they want to believe, fine. Then you can go out there with your fake narrative and all you want. If that's what makes you happy, I know the truth, and I know what's going to happen.
Happy at all. Just tell you get ready for it.
As a guy in disguise on a sideline.
Well, they haven't confirmed that. Hold on.
Coach of a different program. You think you're not going to have a victory vacated over that?
Hold on, Sean. One, that has not been confirmed yet. And two, even if that's true, that was only one game. And three, Tennessee had 18 level 1 violations, and no wins were vacated.
Baylor did the same thing, and they got what?
I'm going to cease my discussion in this conversation just for the sake of the program here.
Wait, what did Bama lose, Mike?
Baylor did this and got, was it a 1 or 2 game suspension? Now I get the Ohio State thing because first they're our rival, and two, with the whole tattoo selling your golden pants thing, the NCAA made some horse crap sanctions on them and really just raked them over the mud unnecessarily. So
and they also just don't vacate wins anymore. That's just not something they do.
I'm not telling you what I think should happen. I'm just saying I think you guys will get hit harder than you guys are expecting.
Nobody cares about vacated wins. That's just stupid anyway. Don't worry about that. I'm saying to you, I'm saying it's going to be unfair. You're just missing my whole point. Is that they're going to make more of it than it was. They're gonna exaggerate the whole situation, and it's just going to put a taint on the whatever wins or whatever the season ends up being. That's all I'm saying.
It's still going to be legitimate.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
They can think whatever the hell they want. They ain't paying my bills. They ain't paying my rent. I don't.
Mike just went on the field. I get you. I get you. Once again, I get you. I understand. I watched all those games. You're going to watch all these games. You're going to celebrate that championship. A couple of jealous morons can't take that away. Some guys in Indianapolis can't say, "Oh, we're vacating it." Okay, have fun with that. I still remember being there, enjoying the game, kicking the shit out of the Sooners, watching them cry their way off back to Norman. I remember all that. You can't vacate those memories. Enjoy the memories. Just get ready for the little chicken shits to come after you. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you don't think I'm used to that by now? I mean, it just duck.
Oh no, because you guys haven't won anything forever, Mike.
I think he's talking about fans coming at him for the sign stealing. I don't think he's talking about winning.
I mean, if you can't handle idiots, well, first of all, you're on the bad spot of the internet, and two, you probably shouldn't follow sports because sports plus internet equals idiots everywhere. As far as
I know. Peek in the chat sometimes.
Idiots
everywhere.
So I mean, if you're too sensitive for just morons, then we're in the bad spot right now. Mine's just
Yeah,
one.
you
Well-
follow sports or
Yeah.
politics, and you have to expect a level of
Yeah.
degeneracy.
Oh yeah. You get into sports, and especially college sports and politics anywhere on the internet. It is a shit show, no matter what. Let's kind of touch, because I have a feeling each one of these is going to take like 20 minutes.
Can we put trail at 4?
I agree 100%.
That's
The
beautiful.
U has never done anything wrong, and they get picked on so much.
Yeah, okay, exactly. TF, he's one of those idiots everywhere. You know. Love you, TF.
Awesome team. Yeah, the convicts.
Yeah, we're on
Yo,
convict convict
Catholics
politics
versus convict.
syndrome.
Oh my
No,
God, I'm
Catholics versus
But I
convicts.
was going to ask
yep.
about the Sugar Bowl with Texas at Washington. I'm excited about the backstory with Coach Sark. I mean, he got his start as a head
Yeah.
coach at
I
Washington.
never even thought about that. Jeez. Shit.
And
Well,
now
Nice.
here you go,
Yeah,
Jackson. It was reported today that the night before the game, that Washington's president is going to take him out drinking.
Oh man,
Oh,
that's
jeez.
You think as a Bama fan you wouldn't make that?
Shame.
I think Coach Saban. I think Coach Saban kind of changed that real quick. He's just like, you're not drinking.
Let's talk
Ever
about
since
the
then.
few other of the games. I mean, there's a lot of other really good bowl games that are upcoming. Let's talk about a few of those, including
There is.
this week's Army Navy game. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Army Navy game. Go Army!
Have you guys seen have you heard of the uniforms they're having, Joey?
No, I'm not.
Okay, the Navy is going with the silent team. They're going to honor the submarines. And Army is wearing it's called ROTM, Rock of the Marne. And what the Marne is the 3rd Division Infantry. It's to celebrate 20 years ago the invasion they had when they went into Iraq. So Army's going to honor the Marne, and Navy's going to do the submarines.
Cool. Yeah, that game. I look forward to the Army Navy game every year, as you do as well. Of course, I root for Army, you root for Navy. But
It's a great game to bet the under. I think it hit like 18 years in a row or something like that.
I honestly, and I tell people, I think the Army Navy is the greatest game every year. I think it's, I know I'm a Bama fan and we hate Auburn, we hate Tennessee, but I'll tell you what, Army Navy just means so much more.
It's the pageantry. And I also like.
I mean, as far as aesthetics, it's like one of the worst games of the year. But
oh yeah,
yeah, but the over/under on that game is like 28, isn't it? In the 28, I think it's 28 the over/under on that game.
Well, we
Probably.
know that.
Yeah, it's not going to be that high.
Yeah.
Well, we know next year Army's going to join the American Athletic Conference, so it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, but Army and Navy, and they won't never be able to compete because of NIL. They can't really pay their players. So
or the transfer portal, they can't take it. They can't.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Army.
To tell that to Air Force though, because they seem to be doing all right.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them all. Unless the Pentagon
going
gives
into the Air Force isn't the same as going into like the Marines or the Army or I mean.
Yeah, it wasn't always that case. I remember back in the 40s and 50s.
Well, the over
players went
under
to service academies.
Yeah, the over under is 27.5, Joey.
27.5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I would take the over at that 27.5. I would take the over on that, but it's going to be a great game, and I think Army's going to pull it out. I think Army wins it 21-14.
Unfortunately, you're wrong. Navy's going to beat you guys. We got more Marines on the team this year, so we do good anytime there's more Marines.
So you're going to have more penalties?
Well, yeah, but hey, we can live with them.
Marines equals personal foul.
Yeah, what's a couple personal fouls, if you rip a guy's helmet off,
Did our host leave? Ben, are you there, brother?
He's here. Sean's not here at the moment.
So he has on his thing over here bowl game previews: Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Missouri.
Yeah, just go to the next game. That's where we're at.
Orange
Just
Bowl
go to
epic.
the New Year's Six bowl games. That's where we're at, Joey.
Let's
Yeah,
look
I'm
at that.
pretty
Let's look
excited
at the
about
Ohio
the
State
Cotton.
Missouri game. That Ohio State
honestly-
Missouri game is really intriguing.
Oh yeah, we should wait for that because Sean's not here.
Yeah, but my question is Marvin Harrison going to be opting out of this game? Because I got a feeling he's going to.
Probably.
And will that help
Probably.
Missouri in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna help you. If they're without him, I mean, that's a huge chunk of their passing offense right there.
But the thing is, it's really not. I mean, they still have Cade Stover, which is a top, I'll say at worst, top 7 tight end in the nation. They still got Igbuka. They've got Fleming. They've got Tate. They've got no lack of receivers. The question is, how many of them are going to opt out? Because it looked like in the Michigan game, a lot of them just seemed like they didn't want to be there, and it was kind of a bad sign that there might be some opt outs. But I also think that Missouri is a bit overrated. So I think
hold on a minute. There's a guy in the chat, Jed83. He just made a rude comment to us. Just to let you know that just on this panel alone, Joey Foster and Ben, they both served in the Army. I served in the Marine Corps. With your comment, what branch did you serve? Because with your comment, I don't believe you served anything.
Time him. Time
I
him
guess
out.
it ties into that whole sometimes our chat's not all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with people like that, we just block them.
Yeah. Be better, people.
I do think Ohio State will win that game, though, Joey. I do think Missouri is a good team this year, but I don't think they're on the level of Ohio State by any means.
No.
Yeah,
I think Ohio State's defense will hold them to a touchdown.
I do
This
think
looks
it's going to
like
be a little bit high scoring game.
yeah, I kind of feel like
I think Ohio State's defense is going to shut them down.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, because I'm not so sure we're going to see that many opt-outs from Missouri, but we're going to see a lot of opt-outs from Ohio State.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Huh?
You'll see more from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm kind of getting 2022 Rose Bowl vibes from this game. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. Closer than the experts have it.
You mentioned the opt-outs, and I just want to point out to people that might be looking for a game to bet on. A good bet would be the West Virginia NC State game and to take West Virginia because West Virginia is a very young team. A lot of freshmen, sophomores on that team that are not going to sit out. And that's, our starting quarterback, our starting running back, our wide receivers. Most of our offensive line, a lot of our offensive line is young. And it's the best offensive line in the country. Only giving up 3 sacks this year, averaging 264 yards a game running. So if you're looking for something to bet on, I would take West Virginia over UNC. Just that's not betting advice. Don't take it as betting advice. Just saying that that's what I'm going to do. I look at a lot of things like that because when you're talking about players setting out. You look at players that are going to sit out in some of these New Year's Six bowls, and you're right. Ohio State might have quite a few players setting out, and Missouri's not going to have very many. You're exactly right.
Now, the other game that day, Joey, I like the Penn State Ole Miss game.
Oh yeah,
but I wish they would have put Ole Miss against Oregon because I think Oregon and Ole Miss would be a fun game. A lot of offense, not a lot of defense. That could have been a hell of a shootout.
But I think this is going to be a great game because
I think Penn State going to blow Ole Miss out.
Well, the thing about
I think that
Penn State's not blowing anyone out. They don't have the offense.
Yeah, they don't have the offense.
No, I think Penn State going to blow them out. What do you mean? Penn State blowing out? Penn State's blowing out everybody but Michigan and Ohio State. What are you talking about?
Ole Miss's defense is terrible. I mean, and that's polite. Now their offense is legit, but Ole Miss's defense is
like they can hang. They can hang.
The thing about Penn State,
that's what I'm thinking too. They're going to hang. This is going to be one of them games that's going to be decided by 7 points or less. I think Penn State will win it, but this is going to be a really good game. Penn State and
I think that's a coin flip. It'll just depend on
Yeah,
if Penn
'cause
State's
both
pass rush
these
can
teams,
get
they
by.
can't. One thing both these teams got in common is neither one of them can quite win the big games. I mean, Ole Miss is basically the Penn State of the SEC, and Penn State is the Ole Miss of the Big Ten, so to speak.
Ole Miss is the team that always starts, shoots out of the hatch really quick and then just kind of fiddles out like a bottle rocket falling from the sky.
But remember, guys, if you do watch the Ole Miss game, grab your popcorn.
I plan to. It's gonna be a great one. It's gonna be
Sean,
a
what do you because you weren't here a few minutes ago, are you hearing anything regarding who may or may not be in for Ohio State at the New Year's Six game?
No, I'm not hearing much of anything except that I expect there to be a lot of holdouts in this game. Significant ones too. I would be shocked if either Marvin Harrison, Abuka, Henderson, or Stover played in this game, as well as JTT Tumalau on the defensive side, and there might be a couple other ones. There should be fairly significant holdouts, and I think they're going to try to get as many true freshmen because bowl games don't count towards your redshirt eligibility. You can play them in a bowl game and it won't affect your red shirt. I expect like 22 freshmen to see some snaps in this game.
And is Denzel Burke NFL eligible?
Yeah, he's a third year guy.
Okay,
it's possible. So I mean, like if he's out, yeah, I mean I could see him holding out, and but yeah, I mean like you can put Jermaine Matthews in his position, and there's not much of a drop off. Honestly, I mean he'll be fantastic.
Yeah, and a bowl game that we'll all be keeping an eye on, FSU and Georgia and stuff in the Orange Bowl. You know, FSU getting left out. Here's what I'm going to go back to the point I was trying to make a while ago. In 1993, West Virginia got left out, ranked number 2 in the country, but Florida State jumped them. Florida State sees how West Virginia feels right now. West Virginia went on and played Florida in a bowl game and got blown out 54-7 or something like that, because they didn't want to be in that bowl game. They wanted to be in the national championship game. And I'm afraid that Florida State is going to be thinking to themselves, as players, we deserve to be in the playoffs, and we're not in the playoffs. We're playing Georgia. Yeah, it's a great team, and we need to play our best to beat them. But at the same time, we should be in the playoffs. We're undefeated. I think the Florida State players are going to be down in this game, and I think Georgia will absolutely destroy Florida State.
I think down. They should use that as an opportunity to prove to the committee that, hey, you guys made a mistake leaving our butts out. I mean, this could have 1967 Sugar Bowl, 2014 Peach Bowl vibes written all over it for Florida State. And what I mean by that, like everybody knows what I'm talking about with the TCU Ole Miss game and the Peach Bowl. But the 1967 Sugar Bowl was where Alabama beat down Nebraska 34-7. So Florida State could have I would love to see Florida State have a day like that against Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Let's be honest. And who knows? Maybe we could see some guys opt out.
It's going to look like TCU Georgia last year. If anybody doesn't believe that, they're on drugs.
No. I guarantee
you don't think Florida State's not going to get blown out by Georgia?
For by 50 point? No.
At least 30.
If they have to play their third stringer, Brock Glenn? Was that his name?
No.
Yeah, they're not. They're going to play Rodemaker. He's going to be
Rodemaker's playing, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he did against Florida. Not much.
I mean,
Brock Bowers opting out. That can make a big difference if that happens.
Oh, there's no way Bowers plays. Not after the injury he just had.
Yeah, and McConkey's almost certainly out too.
Yeah.
In this game. I mean,
I
still
think
think
Georgia
Georgia just has.
Carson Jr.
I think Georgia has too much talent in this.
Yeah,
way
too much talent.
Florida State's
And
defense.
Kirby's mad.
Florida State's
And
defense.
Kirby's mad, so he's going to take it out.
Florida State's defense is too good for
Spaz.
Georgia to be hanging
You
up
think
60
Kirby? Spaz, you think Kirby learned from the 2009 and the 2014 Sugar Bowls where Bama was down and their opponent took advantage of it?
Yeah, Kirby has his teams ready to go, and he's going to want to make a statement to the committee that they deserved to be in, and Florida State obviously didn't, because look what we just did to them. That'll be his battle cry.
I think Florida State comes out there churning on all cylinders. Georgia's going to have a lot of holdouts. I think Florida State's going to have extra attention to beat them, because if I'm Florida State, I remember discussing this earlier, whenever Mark had the reveal. If I'm Florida State and I win this, I hang a banner saying, "We're the national championships. F you."
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's the only way the state of Florida can claim a national championship nowadays, right?
I wanted to ask a question that wasn't on the list that we haven't talked about. And who do you guys think's winning the Heisman next weekend?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I want it to be Michael Penix, but I know it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Penix doesn't have near the
Penix is a solid
And
third.
then, of course, LSU will get out the belt and spike Wisconsin in the ReliaQuest Bowl. And then everybody's going to hype up LSU in the preseason next year. That's what's going to happen.
I have been curious about the health of Penix of the last half of the season. I mean,
he played just fine Friday night. I think it was a ruse, man.
Is it a ruse?
It got the money line way up there because of it. And he went out and had a decent game. He threw for over 300 yards and controlled the line.
He got the right turtle shots, I guess, before the game. Huh?
Sure. He's going to enjoy that month off. Let's just say that. Where the hell are you going now?
Where?
All right, so I guess we're on to the Fiesta Bowl now.
Oh, Siesta Bowl, Oregon and
Liberty.
Talk about this one.
I'm going to give my opinion on this. I just think that, like I said, a group of 5 team can knock off a Power 5 team in a one-off, and if they got to play in a Power 5 conference, they can't do so well. The problem is with this game is Oregon is just too good, too much to prove, and Liberty is going to get destroyed. I mean, it's not even going to be a game, I don't believe.
We thought that about USC and Tulane, too.
I got 2 questions for this.
I didn't think about Tulane.
One of them I got is about Jamie Chadwell. Will this game, regardless of how it turns out, will it finally be the needle that helps Jamie Chadwell get noticed by Power 5 schools in the next edition of the coaching carousel?
Well, who's to say that Jamie hired? Who's to say that Jamie wouldn't be hired by a Power 5 program before this game ever started? Because there's going to be some open coaching, right? So Jamie could be gone before this game ever started. Now,
what Power 5 job openings are going to come open between now and this game?
In all actuality, you don't know, but I mean, there'll be something that Jamie is that somebody has got some interest in Jamie Chadwell. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I know that Matt Brown, says he's going to be coaching for 2024, but we know that's going to be his last season at the Tar Heels. Well, I got a feeling it'll be his last season.
Okay.
So, I mean, 2024 could be his last season. So, I mean, Jamie Chadwell could be the Nets head coach at North Carolina.
It could
Minnesota,
be the next head coach at Tulane, even.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
I'm out.
Tulane might be a step up from Liberty.
Minnesota might be looking for a new head coach. Arizona might be looking for a head coach.
Minnesota's not.
I don't think he's that
just
desperate for a Power 5 job.
So wait, and clearly Arizona State's not firing Dillingham.
Jeff's gonna
No,
leave,
no,
guys.
Arizona,
Gotta
not
run.
Arizona State, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
If Harbaugh does end up leaving, I'm calling Ann Arbor and saying go to Tucson and with a blank check made out to Jed Fish and do not leave without him. So in that case, Arizona.
Harbaugh's going to the NFL.
Yeah, say he's not going to leave for another college job. I'm saying if Harbaugh leaves for any reason.
Silver, was it Silver? Silver up here. Silver,
Anyways,
go back and rewind. Silver, we talked about Manning. We talked about Manning earlier tonight. So go back and rewind and watch the show. You'll see us talk about Manning and him transferring.
Yeah.
Going back to the Fiesta Bowl, it was just put out today that pretty much surprisingly that most of my guys are going to play. They're not opting out. Bo says he wants to play one more game, and he's trying to convince his brethren to also. I believe Franklin is also going to play another game, and we'll see. I don't see a lot of opt-outs coming out now. If Bo is seriously going to play, we won't see a lot of opt-outs from Oregon. Maybe Bucky Irving, because I think he's kind of dinged up.
Well, and I have another question, but this involves a different game. This involves SMU and Boston College. Do you think SMU is going to try to run up the score on Boston College in the Fenway Park Bowl, showing the committee that, hey, you guys made a bad decision by picking Liberty over us?
No, because I don't think they're going to beat Boston College.
I don't think so.
I think they will. I think they'll beat them handedly, but
I don't. I think they'll beat them. I think that
you don't think SMU is going to beat Boston College?
No, I think Boston College wins that one.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. SMU's joining that conference next year.
I bet the line is double digits in favor of SMU right now, but
the line's not set yet.
no, it hasn't been. But when it does set, I would be surprised if it's not in the 9 to 11 range for SMU.
I mean,
If it's
that's
over
got to
a
be
touchdown.
amazing being able to play in Fenway Park. That's got to be awesome.
No,
But
No, he already opted out and went to is entering the portal.
who is that?
DJU.
Yeah.
But when I just have a feeling Oregon's going to be smacking Liberty around.
I'm just irritated. I think
Liberty has, I mean, like their strength. They played no Power 5 teams. They didn't really play any strong Group of 5 teams.
Has
this goes back to the
2008
committee again. This goes back to the committee again. Another, committee blunder. It's like, use your brain cells. If you're going to pit the top teams against each other or whatnot, pit the top goddamn teams together. Put Georgia, it should have been Georgia, Oregon, or Oregon, Ohio State. You could have put Missouri against Penn State or Penn State against Liberty. White is one of the top teams all year long. At the end of the year, they get fucked with a shit opponent in a bowl game, and it makes it really hard to even want to watch or participate. If you're a player, it's like, we got to play these schmucks. They're not even in our league. Why are we even playing?
Somebody's got to play them.
Honestly, this game has
put them in a matchup. Penn State, put them in a matchup that makes sense for the team that you're playing. I mean, Liberty should be playing somebody like Penn State or whatnot that's, got that kind of offense, but a good defense.
Come on. Penn,
there's no
Penn
way.
State's a top 10 team.
Penn State would
What?
kill Liberty, just like Oregon's
I
going to
gotta
kill
be
Liberty.
honest. This game has 2008 Sugar Bowl vibes written all over it.
2008. Are you talking about the Florida? You're not going to bring up a bad memory for me again, are you? Florida.
I'm not
it's
bashing
Georgia,
Penn State.
Georgia,
I'm just
Hawaii.
saying.
That was
Georgia.
Georgia.
Let me
I thought that was
let me
a
tell you
tip.
what. Let me tell you what the gravity of this game is: Oregon versus Liberty. If Liberty beats Oregon, it'll be about the same gravity as Boise State beating Oklahoma back in 2006.
Yes,
Boise
exactly.
State beat Oklahoma. It would be about the same gravity. I don't see that happening. I mean, I just think that Oregon will handle Liberty really easily.
Bo Nix wants a championship of some kind, and hey, if he can get a Fiesta Bowl championship, he goes out on top. He wants that championship trophy of some kind.
Mark needs to watch the show more closely.
Well, I mean, he can get himself.
Yeah,
a
I
swag
haven't
bag
examined Liberty real closely, but I mean, I have a feeling just looking at the results, like this doesn't seem like a
Yeah, well,
good
Penn State.
matchup.
Penn State would
I like the Ducks over the Fight and Follows here.
the same way. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same difference. Oregon or Penn State, either one would beat Liberty.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
Bebo.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll probably be flipping between the Citrus Bowl, the ReliaQuest Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl when it gets to that time. But personally, I'll be watching the Citrus Bowl more because I got a feeling that's going to be closer.
Ben makes a great point. But if I smash the thumbs up button, look, we've had most of the night we had like 250 people in here, and we're at like 70 likes. So you guys smash that like button or you can smash the thumbs down button too. That helps as well. So either one, just smash one of them. Let us know if you like us or love us or hate us. How's that? So Mark is getting on me now. Liberty team is nowhere near the same class as Boise State team. I got to think there are going to be significant opt-outs. Yeah. Especially compared
who does Oregon even have that would opt out in this game?
if we look at
Franklin, Bo Nix, Tez Johnson,
Bucky,
Brandon Dorless, Bucky. Well, Bucky's only a sophomore, but they could still opt if he wanted to.
I thought he was a redshirt sophomore.
No, I think he's actual sophomore.
Okay,
well, I
never
think if
mind
we look at the set outs, the people that set out of the Boise State Oklahoma game in 2006, and
No
the
one
people
did. That wasn't a thing.
Liberty Oregon game this year, you know, there's a big difference in the amount of people that would set out, but at the same time,
Christian McCaffrey set the standard for the precedent for guys sitting out.
thank you, Erica, for the super chat there. Please,
No,
gently.
Bucky is actually a junior. My bad.
I mean, you don't have to gently press that. You can just like
slam it. That's fine.
slam it.
Yeah, I don't do gently.
That's what I'm saying, Mark. He says nobody set out bowl games 2006. That's what I'm saying. Nobody did. Nowadays,
Adrian Peterson played that bowl game, and he was in the draft the next year.
Yep.
And that would not happen today.
all right. So, what's the next topic you got on the chat there for us, Ben? Got Army Navy about that.
Well, yeah, you guys have jumped all over this outline. So I'm not sure if we talked.
Well, I'm trying to keep it in line.
We pretty much talked to everything already. So at this
Yeah.
point, I'm going
did
final
talk much
thoughts or bowl matchups for your team, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with mine. Yeah, West Virginia against UNC, great matchup. Last time that they played each other was 2009, Gable maybe, and West Virginia won it. like 31-30 or something like that. So
that was
it's
the
gonna
08
be a
Miami
matchup.
car care
So
bowl.
for my team, West Virginia and UNC, that's gonna be a great matchup. So, but I think West Virginia will handle that matchup pretty well, and I see us winning fairly easy in that game. So, that's West Virginia matchup.
Tim, what about you and your the mighty Trojans taking on the mighty Cardinal?
Cardinal. Oh, the season's still going.
Uh,
I thought-
Yeah, right.
you have a couple weeks. You have a couple weeks.
I thought I was over. I'm already looking at 2024. Yeah, there's gonna be. Well, talk about opt outs. There's gonna be a significant opt out in Caleb Williams. There's no way in hell he's playing in this game. Probably no Marshawn Lloyd. Most likely no Brendan Rice, and there will be more to follow. It's gonna be a shit show on defense, and I hope we can outscore them because they got a pretty good defense. So, final score prediction: I've got no clue.
Hey, is your new DC available to coach now?
Well, he's not going to install the defense in like 2 weeks. I mean, that'd be a tall task. No, they're going to go. They're going to go with. They're going to go with Odom and Nua again, just to
finish it out.
Continue on the struggle that is this year. Jackson, are you guys playing any games? Are the Tide playing at all coming up?
Yeah, I think there's a little game called Michigan, and the granddaddy of them all. That's gonna be an awesome game. I mean, I know it won't quite be like the 2020 Citrus Bowl where Bama smacked Michigan around, but it's gonna be a shootout between Milroe and McCarthy. I am looking forward to watching some of the great players like McClellan, Isaiah Bond, Blake Corum, and that tenacious Michigan defense. I mean, that's going to be a great game right there. I'm loving what both teams are bringing. Final score prediction, I have no clue. Honestly, I have no clue. You're going to have to give me a few weeks on that.
So, Jackson, according to BetUS.com, Michigan is fake. So, Michigan coming in as a 1-point favorite on BetUS.com.
I'm going to bet you, Joey. I saw that they don't say the favorite whatsoever at the end of the season. When the game time, it will be Alabama will be the favorite in that game.
Yeah, I think so too. But the early line has Michigan favored. So I'm taking Alabama in that for sure. So.
Yeah, Michigan definitely opened as more than a 1-point favorite, so it's already come down a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a battle in the Rose Bowl. I'm so excited about this game.
All right, Liberty.
I got no score clue right now, other than at least 30. We'll probably win by 30. I don't know much about Liberty. I got to go watch some of their games and kind of see what they got. I looked at their schedule and it didn't look very promising. I mean, they beat Appalachian State, who got beat by 30 in their title game Saturday. So it doesn't look very good to me.
The line today started at -14.5 for Oregon, which again, it's the line, whatever. It's up to 15 already, but I don't think it's updated because at that point, people didn't think Bo Nix. At that point, people didn't think Bo Nix was playing.
Wait, everybody's talking over each other.
No, there's an echo, Joey.
There's an echo, Joey.
What's going on?
I don't know. It's all haywire.
Somebody hacked Joey.
Joey's being weird.
Oh, great.
I hear nothing. Is it me again?
Do you have anything else, Spaz?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I guess we'll go to me now, and I say, I'm the Michigan guy, and it's going to be the Alabama, and I'm just going to address a few things that's been said. 1, we are not afraid of Alabama. 2, if there was any type of shock or outrage, it's that it's from people, not just Michigan fans, realizing that the committee just screwed FSU. 3, I hope we are a dog whenever the game's played, because it fits into the Michigan versus everybody narrative. Please keep doubting us. Please keep thinking that we're cheaters. We can't win this. Bama, is just the legend. They're the best team that's ever been invented. They're gods walking among us. Please do that. Underestimate us. See what happens when people get underestimated. That's what happens when Alabama went and played Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl and got the complete shit whipped out of them about what?
You get beat 47-41 to a team that didn't even deserve to be there.
But my point is that quit looking at the letters on the front of the jersey and look at the ones in the back. We have dogs up and down, offense, defense, special teams, everywhere you want to go. And if you don't think we can do it, what?
I love Michigan, but I would give you 3 points any day against Alabama. I mean, I think Alabama's gonna just walk the dog with you guys.
I know that, and I want you and I want everybody else to think that, because it will be much more delicious, whenever January 9th hits, and we're going to be playing either Washington or Texas. So please doubt us. That's what we want.
Well, I doubted you last year too against TCU, and who won that? So
that's going to be. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I'm doubting you this year too. So I like I say, I would give you 3 points against Alabama. I just think Alabama's going to walk the dog with you.
Mike, I will tell you, if Michigan does win against Bama, it's going to be awesome seeing, regardless if Michigan wins or loses against the winner of Washington or Texas, it's going to be fun seeing that rematch in 2024. I'm already looking forward to seeing Michigan, Washington, and Michigan, Texas next year.
Yeah, when we said we got to play all these rough teams.
I like that one right there. Joey's going too bit against Michigan. I am. I have really been down on Michigan this year. I was down on them against Penn State. I was down on them against Ohio State. They proved me wrong both times. But I'm sorry, against Alabama, there's just not a chance.
Like I said, everybody's welcome to their opinion, and like my StreamYard says, #staying with FSU. They got screwed.
Hummus Hero is right. He says Bama is far from invincible, but they are still formidable when firing on all cylinders.
Oh yeah, and I didn't give a score prediction, and I'm not going to. But if anybody thinks that I'm going to sit there and say, we beat Alabama 38-3, no. This is going to be a good game. I think we will win. I think it'll be very close. I think it'll be very competitive, and I think it will be very interesting. But anybody that says, we're going to get blown out, we don't belong on the field with them, have fun thinking that.
Nice.
Anybody that thinks that Alabama's going to blow out Michigan, I got 2 words for you. Tommy Reese. There you go. There's 2 more for you.
Okay, so my thoughts about my team going into the Cotton Bowl is I don't care. We get as many players good live experience as possible. That's what I'm interested in. And if we beat Missouri, great. I mean,
so we jumped to the Cotton. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Ohio State's going to beat Missouri in the Cotton Bowl.
Maybe. I mean, like we would beat Missouri. I have no doubt that Ohio State would beat Missouri if they really, really, really wanted to. I mean, it's just,
but it's going to be a opt-outs. What players opt out and what players decide to play. That's what I hate about it, and that's why I've always been a strong proponent of get rid of the paper play rule in college football so that people can sponsor somebody and say, hey, you've got to play in that bowl game or you ain't getting this money. Tie them to the school. Get rid of the paper play rule and allow them to allow the NIL to tie somebody to a school and make them play in a bowl game. And then we'll have a real bowl game. I don't like this setting out stuff and you never know who's gonna
But
really.
but even then, players would weigh the risks of future contracts. Go ahead.
Sean, I believe the last time the Buckeyes played Missouri was in the John Cooper days of '97.
Yeah, absolutely, 1998.
Yeah, 98. Oh man, that's bad memories for you. Sorry.
Bad memories for me.
Well, for Ohio State, because they beat
Michigan State.
Yeah, they slayed the dragon against Michigan, but they couldn't get it done against Saban and Michigan State.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, I mean, but that '98 team was one of the best teams of my life when they. Yeah, I mean they were number one almost the entire season that year, and I was I was really young at that point, but yeah, I do remember that season. That was that helped crystallize my Buckeye fandom.
We have a lot of great support out there in the chat. We have a lot of great support, and Hamasiro says, I still enjoy watching the bowl games, even with opt-outs. You get to see the younger guys who are pumped to show what they can do, and that's true. It's next man up. So,
yeah, and yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of pushbacks on the changes in college football the last couple of seasons. I think they're mostly positive. I think the transfer portal and the NIL deals are mostly better for the players than better for the sport in general. So, but I think this is the best 4-team playoff of the CFP era, and it'll be very fun. I could see any one of these teams winning it. I really could. And I think that's the only time I could probably ever say that. In this
Joey, I was just thinking about this. I remember the last time West Virginia and North Carolina played. It was in the 08 Meineke Car Care Bowl, and that was where Pat White won his 4th straight bowl game, and he was the first ever quarterback to ever win 4 bowl games as a starter. Like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if any quarterback has done that since then, but that is
nobody. Yeah, it's the only quarterback to ever win 4 straight bowl games, and the thing there was 3 of them were BCS bowl games, weren't they?
No, 2 of them were BCS bowl. The second bowl was the Gator Bowl against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's right, Georgia Tech. Yeah, we beat Georgia Tech in the Gator Bowl. Yeah, but 4 straight games, 2 of them BCS bowl games. So, yeah, that was a kind of amazing little time period for West Virginia football. But
those Pat White, Steve Slayton teams were something to watch.
Yeah, they
really. If there was ever a Mount Rushmore for West Virginia football, Pat White and Steve Slate would automatically get on there.
It's funny. Owen Schmidt with 3 teeth would have to be on there as well.
We have, and Mark has it too because so there's a company called Slap It On that makes decals, and they make them for NFL, NHL, and NBA, and a lot of other big teams. Anyway, I reached out to him. Mike Vanderjack owns the company who used to kick for West Virginia. Used to be the punter for West Virginia. But Mike Vanderjack owns the company. So I reached out to Mike, and was talking to him about us doing Slap It On and things. But they have a Mount Rushmore of West Virginia. And it's really a cool looking little picture. And I can't talk about that because they sent me a copy of it that has not been cleared by West University yet, and they sent Mark a copy of it that's not been cleared by the university yet. But it really is a really nice little monument of West Virginia. It's pretty cool. So got players on there like Major Harris and Pat White and stuff. So. But I wish I could talk about that more. It's really a nice little Mount Rushmore. And the thing about it was, they have a Mount Rushmore for nearly every team in college football. So, but slap it on, yeah. Look them up if you guys want something for for your. Look up, slap it on, see if they've got something for your team. It's pretty cool because you can scan their image. So, like, if you get a slap it on. And like, if I got an image of Major Harris, I can scan that image with my phone, and it'll show me some great plays by Major Harris back in the day. It'll show me that on the phone. That's the cool thing about Slap It On. It's like a QR code, but it's only a football player. It's a sticker, it's a decal, something you hang on your wall, whatever. But if you scan it, it'll show you some great plays by that player or whatever you want to do. So, yeah. Everybody check it out. And they're not a sponsor or supporter of this channel. I'm just saying that they've got a great product.
Okay. Just some Joey Foster, right?
I'm about ready to fall asleep here. Like I said, I'm on drugs right now, so I stayed on as long as I could. So y'all have a good night. Go Blue, and I'll catch y'all next week.
Good night. Sleep well. Stay safe. Stay warm. It's cold out.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you a couple more times. Ready to play again.
All right. I think that has covered quite a bit tonight. And obviously, we've not even touched about even a quarter of the bowl games, but there's no way to do that all in one night. Absolutely no way.
Well, I guess there'll be plenty of time to cover Michael Penix versus Quinn Ewers. That's going to be a great.
There are some great bowl matchups. There's some great bowl matchups this year. We have to admit that. They didn't get a lot of things right. In the college football playoffs, they didn't get it right. I don't think. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not for Florida State, but I feel like Florida State should be in there. So they didn't get it right there. But as far as some bowl matchups, even Florida State matchup, I think that they got some things right there because let's face it, Florida State versus Georgia, there's not going to be a better bowl game because Florida State's going to need to win that game to prove that they deserve to be in the college football playoffs. Mm-hmm. And Georgia's going to want to win that game to show that they deserve to be in the college football playoffs. So,
right. And I will say, I mean, the only times every time that people say like the BCS or the CFP committee got it right is just when it's easy, right? Every time there's any sort of controversy, there's always going to be a lot of people saying, "Oh, you screwed somebody or other," right? And any tough decision, somebody's going to have an argument.
But anyway, Ben, thank you for having me on tonight with you. I appreciate it. And are you wanting to close the show up? Is that what you want to do, Ben?
Yeah, I think we're going to wind it down. But as usual, always thanks to everyone on the panel, because without the panelists, it wouldn't happen, as well as everyone in the chat, as well as all the super chats. Those are extremely helpful to the channel. And please, again, final time, everyone, please do hit the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm a lot. And there has been a great amount of chat going on tonight, all over the place, much like this panel, but it's interactive, and that's what we're here for, because you guys help drive the show too. So, once again, we're going to be here next Sunday night discussing any further updates as well as some other bowl games. As this week, we're going to hear a lot more about transfers, opt-outs. That could change the game. Some of these games, not necessarily the playoffs. The playoffs, I think, are pretty set. But
let me say, if you're in the chat and you'd like to join us here on the panel, all you've got to do is be on the Discord channel, and to be on the Discord channel, just join Patreon or join right here on the Voice of Football. Just join the channel. You can join for as little as $5 a month. And you can be on the panel here with us and discuss your team next week and argue with everybody. So,
if you want to see the #1 college football network, this is the one.
So, once again, right here, look up Patreon, MarkRogersTV. or just become the YouTube channel member right down below. Hit the join button and pick your perks, and you get a bunch of custom stuff involved with that besides the Discord and custom icons. So once again, though, all to the chat, we appreciate you. The panelists here, we appreciate you. And right here next Sunday, we will be back to continue discussing further updates as well as further bowl games. So again, I do appreciate everyone here, and we will see you next week, as always, right here on the Voice of College Football on After Dark Show.
Peace out.
Good
Love
night.
you guys.